What's up? This is Alex with brokersofchoice.com. And if you really want to learn how to level up your life, you should be listening to the Time to Shine Today podcast with my man, Scott Ferguson.
Time to Shine Today podcast squad. It is Scott Ferguson, and I got my boy Alex Felice from brokeisAchoice.com. I've been waiting on this one to drop. Alex is a high energy guy like me, so we had a ton of fun. It was almost like a pinball or a ping pong kind of conversation because we were just dropping knowledge nuggets left and right. And what Alex had to say about pushing through your failures, being persistent, and measuring success by the time you have to kill just truly blew my mind. So without further ado, kick back, relax, break out your notebooks, because here comes my good friend Alex Felice from brokeisAchoice.com. Let's level up. Time to Shine Today Varsity Squad. It is Scott Ferguson, and I'm super stoked. I have a fellow military guy here. He's Army, and I'm Navy, so that's okay, though. But we'll get along for today. The big game's in a couple months, if they let it be played. But I got a fellow real estate investor that is absolutely killing it right now. Like I said, his name is Alex Felice. Total rock star. Was introduced to me by another podcast interview, David Pere, a Marine, that is actually killing it, helping others invest in real estate. But Alex is a prior service Army guy who invests in residential real estate. Alex has been buying real estate since 2016 and is now a full-time investor with a portfolio of single-family homes, a small apartment building, and multiple ongoing flips. In 2020, he started a media company to leverage his years of photography and videography experience. The rest of the time, you can find Alex reading books, jacking some iron. If you're watching on YouTube, this guy's pretty well put together. He's out there lifting weights, or he's publishing his advice to the next investors at brokeisAchoice.com, which is a freaking fantastic URL. Kudos to him for grabbing it. And so, Alex, come on, introduce yourself to the Time to Shine Today squad. But first, what's your favorite color and why?
Pink.
Pink? My man.
Heck yeah.
What's going on with, it's in your color wheel, but what's up with pink? Why do you like it?
Because most guys can't wear it. And so I just want to do it to say I can do things because it limits most men by their mentality.
Oh, yeah. I rock pink all the time. I'm in here in South Florida, just north of Miami. So there's a lot of pink that's going around on the dudes. And I rock. I have that skin tone, so I can pull it off. But hey, man, let's get to the origins of you, man. You did some time in the Army, did some combat. Let's start there and kind of work it up into being a rock star real estate investor.
Yeah, I did 4 years in the Army. I did 2 tours overseas. That was a formidable experience. I was a timid kid, a very timid kid, like a lot of people join the Army. Didn't have much ambition, didn't have much, I didn't think much of myself. And that really is a very limiting factor. If you don't think you can do it, you can't. So the Army helped out pretty good. I went from like, hey, I really need some help to, hey, you guys are slowing me down in about 4 years, which is a good thing. Got out, turns out that they were not slowing me down that much. I was quite arrogant and not that talented. So I had a bit of a slow start in life. It wasn't until I was about 30 and a little bit that I realized that my talents or my arrogance far out exceeded my ability. And so I had to have a little come into Jesus meeting with myself, get some humility, make some sacrifice, get some work ethic, and really turn things around. It's amazing what happens when you actually really try at life and have some reference to where you really are instead of just thinking, oh, I'm going to be awesome because I think it. It's like, that's not really how it works. You got to put some freaking labor in. Right. And so 31, I turned it around. I started getting my stuff together. Started learning about finance because I was always broke my whole life for no reason other than just mismanaging money and engaging in consumerism. So I learned about money, went and got a degree in finance because I figured if I want money, learn about money, go be around money. So I got a degree in finance, started learning about personal finance, started learning about real estate in around 2013, started buying foreclosures. I was working a job I hated and I couldn't afford to quit like so many. And so I said, man, I'm going to buy my freedom.
Right.
And rentals allowed me to buy my freedom. And I realized real estate's a very good vehicle, but it's not like I don't want it on my gravestone, right? Like it's a good vehicle for wealth, but it's not my passion project. And turns out, as a guy who for 30 years, again, I called myself not that creative. Turns out I am kind of creative. I just I couldn't focus on it because I didn't want to be a starving artist. So once I fixed the money problem of real estate, now I'm opening, as you said, a media company, photo and video. And that's going, that's, you know, it's a process, but it's ramping up pretty quickly.
Who do you serve with the photo and video?
So I have a few little different niches. I do these lifestyle shoots where I interact with people. I'm a people person through and through. I'm an off the charts extrovert, bro.
You're like a magnet. You know, you bring people right to you. You know, that's why I want to interview you. You know,
call me that. Yeah. You know? So the conferences. You go to conferences. I started going to conferences, and I lug around this big camera. I can't help myself. This guy that I'm using right here. I lug around this big camera for no reason. Nobody hired me. Nobody pays me. I just like it. And then I go on my blog and I'll post like 180 photos and 4,000 words. And it's like, this is what I did for the last 3 days on this conference. And nobody asked me to do it. Nobody paid me to do it. But I'm the only one on planet Earth that can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then so people started perking up and they're like, hey, we want to pay you to come to these conferences and do that thing. And then I also started doing promotional material for multifamily syndicators to help them raise money for big projects, drone work, sponsor conversation interviews. And so, dude, I mix my real estate and I mix my photography in in a super niche like nobody else.
Love it. I love it. So what do you think makes a great real estate investor, Alex?
Investing when the market cycle is favorable for investors.
Okay.
Let me tell you this, real estate's not that hard. In fact, especially residential real estate. Real estate's actually incredibly simple and kind of easy. You got to make sure you get good deals, but it's not that difficult of a process. What most people I think mess up is, they're overpaying at the top of the market. That's what gets you. If you buy a good deal, if you're patient, if you're deliberate and it's part of a holistic strategy and you don't get caught up in mania, basically play the long game. Real estate works. You just got to make sure you Sorry.
Do you mentor people that come in, or do you have a program that's set up to help people start investing in real estate, Alex?
I have on my website, you can video chat with me. I write everything on my website, brokersandchoice.com, for free. I collect email addresses, but not really. I don't have any coaching or paid memberships, anything like that. I don't sell any courses, but I do have a video chat service that you can chat with me on Thursday nights for real estate investors, but that's free, but it's booked for like 3 months.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Everyone wants a piece of the Felice. That's awesome, bro. So if someone comes to you and they're like, Alex, man, like I want to really invest in real estate. And you're like, okay, I'm going to help you. I'm going to kind of walk you through. You see that maybe a little bit younger than you want to help them. Is there any good question that you wish they would ask you, but never do?
Bro, how much are you helping yourself first?
Okay.
I mean, people want help, and I'm a very big believer of self-responsibility. It's my core value, self-responsibility. So you come help me, I will help you, but like my rule is nobody can help you more than you help yourself.
Yeah.
Like nobody's going to care about your success more than you. Not your wife, not your dad, not your kids. Nobody cares about your success more than you. So if whatever you're not doing, nobody else is going to be able to pick the slack up. So when people come to me and they're like, I want to do this, I really look at them and I'm like, what are you doing for yourself? Because that's my limit. I will not do more for you than you.
Love it.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely, man. Yeah, you have to start. And what you mentioned earlier about you took responsibility. I mean, like I talked to the squad out there, if you're listening, people, I always say responsibility is the ability to respond. And that's exactly what Alex did, is he responded to a situation and started leveling up. And you'll also take people on the journey with them if they are ready in wanting to help themselves as well. You've got to, change starts with change, right? You want to say you're going to change, but you got to change too, so that's awesome. Thank you for saying that, man. And so tell me about a fail, man. Tell me about a property that you invested in and it just didn't pan out for you and where you might have did it differently.
Yeah. I've been really lucky with real estate. I make a lot of small failures. We use this term, failures like, dude, I haven't getting that. Like, there's nothing that's ever going to knock me out for good.
Right.
Because I like doing it. So you can't tell me to stop doing something I like doing. I'm going to do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So failure is one of those things, I make small mistakes all day and there's always going to be a better investor. So last year I bought a 24 unit. I have a 4,000 word blog on my website, like all the mistakes I made, not the wins, right? Because the wins are easy.
Sure.
You don't learn from wins, you learn from mistakes. So,
Absolutely.
a lot of them, we went in undercapitalized. We bought too small of a deal. This flip that I just finished is about to close, took too long on it, probably overapproved a little bit.
Did that, man, more than my share of times.
Yeah.
This will look nice. You start putting your own taste into something when really you just need to whitewash it. That's what my mentors would be like, Fergie, just whitewash the thing and flip it, because that's what we want to do. I'd be like, oh, it'll look great with this. Sometimes you get caught in that emotion, right? That's funny.
Yeah.
So what financing? How do you finance it on your deals?
So I played the long game. Again, people call me a rock star real estate investor, when in reality, I believe I'm incredibly conservative. So people go, how do you find your deal? I'm like, I saved for 5 years learning about real estate before I bought anything so I could pay for it in cash, because I didn't want to take the risk of debt when I was new.
Okay.
So sacrifice, bro, sacrifice. Most people they have to have it right now, and they're willing to pay any amount of debt for it. And like, debt is, I do risk analysis for small business loans as an underwriter. That's what I used to do. So like, I see the debt side often.
Okay.
And people will take risk of ruin, meaning if this messes up, they could actually go bankrupt. They do that all the time for no reason. So I paid for it with cash, and then what I did is I create 25% equity in the deal, and then I go get a 75% loan, and I get 100% of my cash back.
Love it.
I did that 8 times. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I did that 8 times. I have 8 deals. They all have, they're all about 65% LTV or lower. They all cash flow, and I have nothing in any of them. It's pure profit.
Love it. You ever bring in private money, Alex?
So I started bringing in private money because in 2019, we bought a small apartment complex. It was about $1 million deal. I had to bring in other investors for that. So we brought in some money. And then lately I've been doing flips because we're at the top of the market. Sure. And I don't want to buy a skinny deal and then hold it for 30 years. That's insane to me. So I've been flipping them. It's a little bit harder to do because the margins are thin for the same reason. But if I'm only gonna make 10 grand, I want to get rid of it as fast as possible. I don't want to, that's not the golden goose.
Right.
So, and I don't want to pay for these deals. And my system in place that I have for rehab is, so sick. So my team, my partner. So yeah, I've been having other people come in and we buy and flip deals. I cut them off a piece, and it's like true. So
beautiful. And I love that you even preface that we're at the top of the market. So if listeners, if you're not versed in real estate investing, sometimes you're going to buy for maybe even a little bit more than what you would be comfortable buying, but you see the opportunity in the flip. So he gets rid of them quicker instead of holding it for 30 years, which he's not going to make much more than what he's at. He lives in the Carolinas, which, down here in South Florida, we call them halfbacks because people will come to South Florida to live and then they go halfway back home and they actually put down roots in the Carolinas, So I'm sure he gets a lot of action down there. So, hey, we're going to get on you've heard of Back to the Future, right? With Marty McFly?
Of course.
Okay. Let's get in our DeLorean, bro. Let's go back. Since you've had some mistakes and your fail forwards and stuff in your life, but let's go back to the 22-year-old Alex. What kind of knowledge nuggets, that's what we call them here at Time to Shine, what kind of knowledge nuggets are you dropping on that, Alex, to maybe help him shorten his learning curve, level up, and blast through?
I didn't start reading books until I was in my 30s. And I don't read that many real estate books, and I only read some business books. Okay. I read mostly history and economics and a lot of philosophy. This has changed my life more than almost anything I've ever done. And it's cheap, books, especially 100-year-old books.
Yes.
Books are cheap. They're cheap. You spend $500 a year on books, you are like grinding, bro.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I didn't do that till I was 30, and it's changed my life. And it's the trajectory is accelerating because the more I learn, the more difficult books I can read. Sure. The more I outcompete people who just cannot touch the books that I read. So I would do that. I would say, hey, Alex, go read books. Go read everything.
I love
it. And it's so easy.
Yeah. They say not all readers are leaders, but all leaders are readers, no matter what. Every single person that I know that levels up and crushes it all read. We pass around books to each other all the time, buy each other books, my circle of peeps. So you said you said philosophers. Do you go with the Stoics at all?
Not really. Okay. I read Meditations. I've read a few of the Stoic books, but there's this guy named Friedrich Nietzsche, and he's not a Stoic at all.
No, but he's a boss, dude. He's a fucking boss.
Kind of a hostile guy, and I really resonate with him. I've read 5 of his books now, and you know, so I like him preferably,
Nice.
but
Nice.
there's a lot.
Dude,
You can learn a lot.
for a businessman, Alex, pick up Seneca, man. The dude was like this. He like owned half of Rome, but nobody even knew he did. And he'd put all these things. He wasn't an emperor. He wasn't like he was just this dude that would write. And now, you know, they hung him eventually, but he was, you got to read because it'll resonate with you. You and me are a lot alike. You will love Seneca. Just pick up anything. It's kind of like, it's super easy reading. He doesn't try to get deep like meditations like Marcus Aurelius or Epictetus and stuff like that. But pick up Seneca. Just trust me. Pick it up. You'll love it. Just read his stuff.
If you recommend it, I will read it. Do not doubt me.
Do
I
it.
read everything.
Do it. Let me know, man. But hey,
can I add to that real quick? I'm so sorry. So there's something that's really important about books too, right? You can have more resources than me financially. You can have more experience than me. You can have more time on this earth than me. But books are the great equalizer because I feel very confident that I can sit at any table on planet Earth and go toe to toe, brain power with anybody. You might have more money than me, but there's few people who read more than me. And so if you read books, it gives you a competitive edge to sit at tables that you may otherwise not deserve to sit at.
Absolutely.
And so that's a great equalizer. So books, bro. Books.
Yes. Love it. I love it. And we're going to put that in the show notes. Books. So how do you want that dash of yours remembered? That little line between your incarnation date and your expiration date? How do you want Alex's dash remembered? Because you kind of prefaced this with the gravestone and stuff like that. You didn't want it to be real safe. How do you want that dash remembered, brother?
I don't know. Starving artist.
I think you're a freaking go-giver, man. I think that you give. I scrolled through the posts that you have on Broke as a Choice. You're giving stuff for free, and you're doing it with personal experience. You know, you're not just doing it out there and saying, oh, guess what? This is what you're regurgitating stuff. And regurgitating is okay, but you've lived it. I really do think you're a living legacy, man. I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass. I mean, but seriously, dude, you're bringing it. So no, I appreciate it. So,
well, thank you. I'm a hyper individualist. I don't repurpose content. I don't share memes. Everything I do is.
You don't. It's all your stuff, man. It's awesome. And that's fantastic. So, let's go this route. If you were to lose everything that you've ever built today, what is the first thing you would do to rebuild it, brother?
You can't take my knowledge.
Right.
That's the most valuable thing. Yeah. I mean, the only thing I have that you could take that would really hurt. I mean, money, but money's not that hard to make. I don't.
It's easy. Right.
Not that hard to make. So I honestly, the first thing I do is go buy a camera. If you keep everything from me, I go buy my camera.
Love it. And get back to work, man. Get back to serving people and putting that good content out there. I love that. So what is the BIG, the big thing Alex wants to accomplish, man?
Bro, I want to go to space.
Okay.
I've been wanting to go to space since I was 10 years old. And now, I never thought it was possible, but now, you know, you got Blue Origin, you got Virgin Galactic, you got some of these people. I think within the next 15 years, there'll be like an option for civilians to go to space. That's incredibly expensive.
Yeah, it's going to be, right.
You can do low Earth orbit right now on Virgin Galactic for $200,000.
Wow.
You can do that right now.
I didn't even know that. Can you really? Yeah. Who do we got out there doing things? You got obviously who you just said, Branson. You got Bezos, right? Elon Musk. All those billionaires are throwing it around. I love it. I love what they're doing. I love progress, man. So
yeah,
that's
so I'd like to go to space.
Love it. 3 things that Alex can't live without.
My camera.
I knew that was gonna be one, dude.
Camera. My bookshelf, man. I can't go without books.
Got it.
And the gym.
Got it. Excellent, man.
You know what? If you actually, I didn't know that question in advance. But it's funny, like, you know, people. The things that are most valuable to me are the things that help me improve the most. And ironically enough, they're all cheap. Like, you don't need a lot of money in this world to really
Thank you.
To self-grow and to be happy. Like, camera is probably the most expensive thing I have, and you don't need a lot of camera to take good pictures. Right. I happen to have a lot of camera because I have nothing else to spend my money on.
It's your jam, dude. Yeah.
Books and the gym and a creative outlet, bro, you have the keys to a successful and productive life.
Love it. What's your definition of a life well lived?
I quote this guy, Nassim Taleb, all the time. He says, success is only measured by the amount of time you have to kill.
Wow. I'm writing that down. You're going to have to give me a second.
Yeah. I don't know. But I resonate with that. I want to spend every day waking up doing whatever I feel like doing and saying no to everything I don't feel like doing.
Love it. That's fantastic. That's a baller statement, man. So as we wind things down just here a little bit, Alex, we like to do our leveling up lightning round. So you and I could talk 15, 20 minutes and every single one of them, but I need answers in 5 seconds or less, no explanations. And all of them can be answered that way. You ready?
Okay.
Awesome. Let's level up. What's the best leveling up advice you've ever received?
Respond, don't react.
Love it. Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
Read an hour a day, every day.
Love
and
that.
meditate. How about those two?
Other than brokeasachoice.com and obviously timetoshinetoday.com, my Siemens plug, what other website do you like to go to kind of level up?
Bigger Pockets.
Love it. Great site.
I just started making a video series for Bigger Pockets. You can go check it out on YouTube. It's been quite the experience. Bigger Pockets.
Awesome. We'll put that in the show notes. It's actually in the thing that you sent over to us, our intake form. So I'll definitely be in the show notes. So not what you're reading now, not what the flavor of the month is, but if I'm in my doldrums, I just feel like shit, be like, Fergie, read this.
Fountainhead, Ayn Rand.
The Ayn Rand, baby. Who's John Galt? Oh, well, that's actually Atlas Shrugged, but still fantastic. So what's your most commonly used emoji, brother?
The little purple devil sign.
All right. So excellent.
I'm an agent of chaos, bro.
I love it. What's your favorite charity and organization you like to give your time and or money to?
I got to be honest. I could be better about this.
No problem.
I spend a lot of time giving everything I know to people. I don't participate in any formal.
No, that's fine.
Sorry.
You're giving a lot of your time. You're living legacy, brother. So last question is kind of hard, and you can kind of expand on it a little bit. But what is the best decade of music? 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s?
The Beatles are the best band that's ever lived.
I love it. You got the 60s, early 70s. Beautiful. So, Alex, how can we find you, brother?
Brokeasachoice.com. Brokeasachoice.com. Brokeasachoice.com.
Brokeasachoice.com, people. You love it.
Yeah.
Leave us with one last knowledge nugget that you want us to take with us, internalize, and take action on.
Oy. I say this, I have this saying I tell people all the time: try hard at everything you do every day until your last dying breath.
Hell yeah. And squad, my man Alex just earned his varsity letter here. He was a timid kid. He realized that his arrogance was exceeding his humility, so he checked himself before he wrecked himself. He took responsibility. Again, it's an ability to respond. You know, he'll remind you to invest when the market is favorable, and even when it's not favorable, make sure you're surrounding the people that will help guide you. You know, how much are you helping yourself first? If you're going to go to someone like Alex or even me, we're going to want to make sure that you are ready to make the change. So you've got to help yourself. When he fails forward. You know, he's a conservative real estate investor, but he plays the numbers the right way. So pretty much every deal he touches will work out in one way or another. He's a living legacy, and he will remind us that success is only measured by the time you have to kill, which is boss. That's baller. He'll also tell you to respond and don't react, and to work and progress till your dying breath. And man, Alex, thank you so much for coming on. You're a rock star. You're leveling up your health, leveling up your wealth. You're humble. You're hungry. Thank you so much for coming on Time to Shine today, brother. Look forward to having you back.
You're a hype man. I love it, dude. Thank you.
Love it. Talk soon, man. Hey, thanks so much for listening to this episode of Time to Shine Today podcast. Proudly brought to you by Sutter & Nugent Real Estate Excellence, who can be reached at 561-249-7266 and online at www.sutterandnugent.com. If you're a business owner or professional who would like to be interviewed on Time to Shine Today, please visit timetoshinetoday.com/guest. If you like this episode, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. There's a link in the show notes to our website. Also there, you will see our recommended resources. We hope that you will support our show by supporting them. If you like what you've been listening to, it'd be great if you could just give us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe while you're at it. I'm your host, Scott Ferguson, And until next time, let's level up. It's our time to shine.